just a Shema. The person said Shema Yisrael, and they had no kavanah, meaning they were not concentrating on what they're saying, they were not yoytz of the mitzvah. Oh, you have really. Yeah, I can have the coffee. Let's chop it in over here. This one. All right. Yeah, please. If you know that would be great. Make a bracha also. With poison, sweetener. I gotta move. Let's go. I'll come over here. No. Shema saying Lashon HaKodesh. The first line. The first paragraph. First paragraph. Say Lashon HaKodesh. Yeah. All right. With the help of Hashem, we are learning brachas, daf yud dalid. We're going to take off. We're going to continue on daf yud gimel amid beis by the two dots, referring back to the Mishnah about making interruptions, about parakim, be'emtza, machlekes, Rab Meir, Rab Yehuda. We're going to clarify where they argue. We're also going to go on from there to learn about whether one may make interruptions when you're reciting the Hallel and when you are reciting the Megillah. We're going to learn furthermore whether the whole question of whether you make a bracha when you say Hallel when it's not Hallel Sholem, saying Hallel when it's not the 18 days Ba'aretz or the 21 days B'chutz La'aretz, other than those days like Anosh Chodesh or the latter days of Pesach. That's a minig. There's a question whether you make a bracha. That's the whole source. Brachas Yudalad, whether we make a bracha for a minig. And B'chlal, just to know that we rule that you don't make brachas for Menhagim, but there are exceptions. The greatest exception is, thank you, Chanukah. Chanukah, the Rebbe, right? We make brachas in a Beis HaKnesses, even though it's only a minig. Therefore, also, we make brachas in the public B'noida lightings, even though it's only a minig. From there, we're going to go into whether you may taste food on a fast day. A machlekes rishonim, what tasting means. We're going to learn the Gemara the way that Rabbeinu Hanan learns the Gemara, whether you can put food in your mouth, not swallow it, whether that's considered breaking your fast. It's connected to interrupting. There's interrupting the Shema, there's interrupting a fast day. From that, we're going to go on to dreams. Even though the main sugya is on Daf Nun Hey, but we're going to learn about the importance of having dreams and what not having dreams mean. We're going to learn various minhagim, whether people b'chlal read the third parsha of Ayomer at night, all connected to the last Mishnah we had in the first Pedic, whether maskidim yitzias mitzrayim b'leilos or not. We're going to learn a braisa in which Rab Shimon bar Yochai is going to give other reasons, other than the ones we had in the Mishnah from Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha as Lama Kadma, Parsha Shema Levahayim Shemaya Levayomer. He gives a whole other approach to the Seder. And finally, we're going to learn about the shidduch between Tefillin and reading Shema. With that, let us begin on Daf Yud Gimel Amud Beis by the two dots, by 8 lines before the bottom of the Amid, Uba Prakim. Again, that's the sugya of the Mishnah regarding making interruptions. Baprakim means, remember, in between paragraphs, as the Mishnah spoke about the paragraphs. Ubaprakim shoyel umesh shitas Rabbi Meir. Frek Gemara, when he said, right, if you can go back to the Mishnah, shoyel baprakim shoyel pnei hakavod umeshiv. We spoke out then the Rashi who says, if you can be shoyel, if you can initiate the conversation, you can initiate greetings, then for sure you can respond. So what does he mean? Meshiv machmas mai ilay mebepnei hakavod. Rab Meir says that you can baprakim, be shoyel, even only for honor, not mipnei hayiro. Now, if meshiv means for the same, only mipnei hakavod, and not l'chol adam, then hashta mishal shoel. Now that Rab Meir already told you that you can take the initiative, so then responding is a given. So why did he have to mention it? This is the Havamina. Rav Meir meant shoyel mipnei hakavod. Umeshiv, Rav Meir wants us to understand it's one notch down. Even l'chol adam. If that's the meaning of Rav Meir, then we're going to get tripped up, because then we won't find where Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda in the next case, where they argue, Ema Seifa of Rabbi Meir. His words have to be consistent. So when he said Ube'emsa Shoyel Pnei Hayira, and then he said the words Umeshiv, and here also you can ask the same question, Meshiv Machmas Mai, Ilema, that Shoyel Pnei Hayira and Umeshiv mepnei hakavod, which is one notch down, which would make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because if that's the case, I think I skipped a line. Right, one line up, 4 lines before the bottom of the Amid. Hashta mishal shoil. So adurami boy. Elot, you must mean again mepnei hakavod. Mepnei hakavod. If that's the meaning of Rav Meir in the Sefer, then Hainu the Rabbi Yehuda, then they're saying the same thing that Tanan Rabbi Yehuda Omer in this Mishnah. Ba'emtza shel mepnei hayira, u'meishiv mepnei hakavod. U'ba'parakam shel mepnei hakavod, u'meishiv shel. The whole thing is the same. They're not arguing at all. So therefore, chassidut mechsere v'hachik tanem. As a klal, chassidut mechsere doesn't mean that you have to actually add the words in the Mishnah. The words of the Mishnah are very precise. They have many layers of meanings. When you teach the Mishnah, you have to, on your own, add in these words. But the Mishnah was written exactly the way it has to be written. Like when you learn Chumash. V'hachik tanem, ba'prakim, right, all this is Rav Meir. Shoyel mepnei hakavod, and Rav Meir then adds ve'ein tzarich loimer shehu meishiv. But you know what meishiv for? Kavod, not l'chol adam. Rav Meir is more strict. Ube'emtza, you can only be shoyel mepnei hayira, and taka ve'ein tzarich loimer, the final line in the Amid, that you're meishiv only from yira, but not for kavod. These are the words of Rav Meir. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that takes everything down a notch. In other words, to be shoyel, there has to be a greater justification. To be meishiv, even one level lower already justifies a meishiv. Let's just quickly review what we learned in the last daf. That yira machlokes rishonim, whether yira means you are afraid of your life, means a king is greeting you. Many rishonim say it can't be that there's a fear of your life, because then the whole Torah is put aside of the 3 big mitzvahs. Yira means for people who you are obligated to have yira to. Your rebbe came by. Your parent came by. It's a mitzvah of yira. Es Hashem alekecha tiro. Es l'rabbis your rebbe. Omesh bnei Yaakov. Dafyomi. Uba prakim. This is all Rebbe Yehuda. Shalom bnei Yaakov. Umeshiv shalom l'chol adam. So indeed, Rabbi Meir and Yehuda argue in both scenarios. And Tanya Nami Hachi that this is pshat in the Mishnah. Here, a Braisa is always more elaborate than a Mishnah. At least that's the rule. And here, the Braisa spells it out in greater detail, and it's clear that this is the way we understand the machlokes. Hakoyda Shema, u paga boy rabbi. You get it? Rabbi is yiram. Oy gadol imenu kavod. So it depends. Ba prakim in between paragraphs. Shem pnei kavod. Clearly. Ve'ein sarach leimer that you're meishiv, but only b'pnei hakavod, not b'pnei kol adam. Be'emtza, shom pnei hayira, ve'ein tzarich leimer shu meishiv, again only mipnei hayira, However, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, be'emtza shom pnei hayira, u'meishiv pnei hakavod, u'ba'perakim in between paragraphs, shom pnei hakavod, u'meishiv shalom l'chol adam. Now, before we go on, I know it's late. Let's look inside the last tosfot and the last summit. This is mamash the mice. We said that in our siddurim, in the new annotated Tilas Hashem siddurim, there's a gavaldik chart. So if you have a question, you can find quickly the answer. When may you not make a interruption? So just to understand how is this connected to our interruptions, look inside tosfot. Let's read inside tosfot in the last summit. The halach is, as a rule, Rabbi Yehuda, since we were unable to fully understand the depth of the logic of Rabbi Meir, so when you paskin, even though you know Rabbi Meir is beyond your understanding, it doesn't mean you paskin like him. If you don't understand it, you don't paskin that way. The rule is we paskin like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is more lenient. Therefore, says Tosfos, afilu be'emtza, even if you are in the middle of a paragraph, you may respond b'pnei hakavod. How is that negel l'maisim kei nira, says Tosfos, shemuter la'anis kaddish. You can answer Amen. You can answer to Kedusha be'emsa kriya shema, because the ein locha mipnei hakavod gadol mizeh. Now, this is a rai that Tosfos learns yira, not yira mipnei rabbi, because of your life. Because if yira means you have to honor your rebbe, then answering Amen, Kedusha, is not called mipnei hakavod. Tosfos categorizes this as mipnei hakavod, that fits. He says, for kavod, there's no greater giving kavod Hashem than answering Amen. So if we would paskin like Rabbi Meir, like Tosfos is saying, that be'emtza you can only respond mipnei hayira, then you would not be allowed to answer amen kedusha. But since we're passing like Rabbi Yehuda, the taka be'emtza only shoyel mipnei hayira, but umeshiv mipnei hakavod, the way Tosfos learns kavod, that's the question. Could you answer amen or not? Be'emtza depends what yira means. It depends what kavod means. It depends whether you're passing like Rabbi or Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, back in the Gemara. Interruptions. Boy minei echi. Where do you find the name Echi? Who was called Echi in the Torah? Binyamin had 10 children. One of them was called Echi v'roish mupim v'chupim v'ard. And here the Gabi is going to correct my Ivrit, but I think it's Echi. Echi v'roish. Or not? Okay. Huh? Open up a Chumash and see. Anyway, so how did it come to be that certain names are not found amongst the Jewish people? That's a big mystery. Because our tradition is, whether like the Sephardim when they're alive, like the Ashkenazim after they passed away, we name after our grandparents, after our great-grandparents. So it's interesting that certain names are found amongst the Yidden. Certain names are not found. What happened? What happened to Echi? What happened to Ord? Mupim. Mupim and Chupim. Stam, it's interesting. Certain names are here, certain names are not here. Abai and Rava. Imagine Abai and Rava. Okay, Kasha. So Boimene Echi, who was Echi?
That wasn't their real name. His name wasn't really
Okay, so Danny is saying, but for Abaya, Asher B'choy Rucham Yasim, or other meanings of Abaya, but still, all the names in Yiddish now. It's not a real name, it's a taich, but then it became a name. Especially nowadays that people are making up names. Let someone have the courage to, you want to make up names? Make up a papa. Call your kid papa. Try that. We already mentioned sometime there was a child, there was a Yanuka here in Shul that was here. Ido DeVries is one of his children, Kalev. So he said that papa is papa, papi, abba. That papa means father. And we have a name father, Abba. My Abba, Abba. It's the same name. That's why you have papa and papi. Depends where you're from. Okay. Wait a minute, Echi. Who was Echi? He was the Tana Levei Rabchia. Because every yeshiva had the guy that knew everything by heart. All of the braises. They were called the teachers of the braises. So they may not have been the great masters of understanding it, but today you have a computer, then you had a yid. You want to know something? He'll tell you whether it's said or not. So Echi, who was the teacher of braises in the shiur of Rabchia, he asked of his teacher, Rabchia, let me ask you, Hallel, the Megillah, when you're reading Hallel, or when you're reading the Megillah, Mao Sheyafsik, can you make an interruption? And he meant on the same rules of our Mishnah. Whether you can make an interruption, be'emtza, ba'prakim, mepnei hakavod, mepnei hayira, not to make an interruption, stam, God forbid. But these rules, if someone greets you in the middle of Hallel, be'emtza, can you respond? Or during the Megillah. So, and he's explaining the question. And the Bach adds the word mi. Mi amininan kal v'chomer. Kriya Shema, that is a do'eraisa. Still, poisek. So, Hallel, which is the Rabbanan, mi boyer. Same thing, Megillah. Oy Dilma, persuma nisa adif. In other words, reading the Megillah isn't only persuma nisa, Hallel is persuma nisa. Armalei responds Rebbe Chia to his Tana teacher, to Echi, poisik ve'emekach klum. Teaches the Rishonim, not stam poisik. You can be poisik the way you are poisik during Shema. Same rules. Next, Amar Rabba, Yochid, Yomim shehayochid goimer bohem es hallel. The days in which even a Yochid concludes the whole hallel. Now we're going to get to even the Yochid in a moment. But what are the days that we complete the hallel? So, Eretz Yisrael, 18 days. What are the 18 days? Let's go, Chevra. The 8 days of Sukkot, meaning the 7 days and Shmini Atzeres. The 8 days of Chanukah, that's 16. The first day of Pesach, only because the latter days, since my handiwork was drowning, don't say the whole Hallel. And so the first day of Pesach and the first day of Shavuos. In Chutz La'aretz, we add 3 days. What are the 3 days? The Chaf Aleph Yom, because we have the first 2 days of Pesach, and we have another day of Shavuos, and then by Yosh, Simchas Torah, the 9th day. So during those days, he says, Bein Pedek, Lepedek, Poisek, clear, but the Emsa Pedek ain't a Poisek. And what he means here, he means like, Kovid, you're not Poisek when paying a Kovid, but you are Poisek by Emsa, like by Shema, like Rabbi Yehuda, Mepnei Hayira. V'yomim she'ein hayochel halal. Days that the individual doesn't conclude the halal, again, doesn't only mean the individual, we're going to get to the bracha in a moment, but the days that a yachid doesn't end the halal, which means every Rosh Chodesh, the latter days of Pesach, their reading halal is a minig, and to make it clear that it's a minig, we may not say the whole halal. Oh, so here says Rabba, afilu be'emtza hapedek, you're Poisek. And Poisek doesn't mean stam in the Weltenein. Even the Pnei HaKavod. Okay. You know what, you can be Poisek Mem Sapek. This big Tosfos, it's late, 7:30 already. This is the whole Tosfos. That, it's in the days that we don't finish the halal, meaning it's days in which saying halal is only a minute. Why are we mentioning Yachid or not? Because the question is whether you make a bracha. And there's a rule, I'm just one line from Tosfos, that for Kosuv, B'machzor Vitri, that's a klal, and we take a paskin, even though there might be there are exceptions. Oh, so now the question is whether we make a bracha on days that we don't say the halal shalom. So the Alter Rebbe paskins that when you're davening with the tzibur, the shliach tzibur should be the one that makes the first and the last bracha. Big havana to be moitzi the crowd, and when you're davening with yachid. Here he passes like the Rishonim, beginning here in the Tosfos, that you still make a bracha. But at least B'tzibur, since the Tefilla makes it, he should be moitze. Everyone.
As far as you B'tzibur don't make a
bracha. Okay, so the Sfarim, just to mention something that most people might not know, that when the Rebbe spoke about this once, Memches, the Rebbe is in a Fabring, in the context of Fabringen, said that you should make a bracha even B'tzibur. It sounded like the Rebbe was saying that. I can quote you from Midrash Yeshiva Rabbi Shapiro. He says that things that the Rebbe spoke out in the context of a Fabrengen, that in itself should never be taken halacha l'maisa. And he has a lot of stories about many other. There's no time I can mention them at another time where the Rebbe made statements, and then afterwards they asked the Rebbe, "What should we do?" The Rebbe says that it was just a havamina. In a Fabrengen, you're theoretically speaking. However, he did add one thing, that if you go to all of Avot Shul, and many people understood that the Rebbe meant b'poyel mamash that you should make a bracha b'yachid, which means if the shliach tzibur is not having in mind to be moitzi you, then you have to make a bracha. Okay, let's go back. How can you say now? How can Nabba say that if b'yamim she'ein goyim mesahalo, you can be poisek even be'emsa, and that means again never to be disrespectful. I have a story where that covet was not given. Rav Bar Shaba, he went to the area of Ravina. Ravina was the master. And it was the Yomim She'ena Yochid Goyim Es Halel, let's say it was Rosh Chodesh, and Ravina did not greet him. I mean, you can be poisoned from playing a kavod. So the Gemara says, well, what does kavod mean? Like I mentioned, to whom do you have to give kavod? Right, so last year we spoke on wealth. You never know. The guy who's wealthy can be the biggest balchoiv in the world. Same thing here in kavod. How do you have to give him kavod? Shani Rav Bar Shava, Ravina did not find him someone to whom you have to give kavod. If there would have been taka, someone you have to give kavod to, he would be poisek. He would greet him. Next, Boyim Inei Ashion. Who was Ashion? He was the Tanach of Ravami. And he asked the question of Ravami. And I think that the link between these sugyas, we're speaking about making interruptions, another type of interruption. You're fasting, may you interrupt your fast. Greeting someone is not mamash an interruption, but it's a big interruption. If you're standing in front of a king, would you interrupt for anyone? And by the way, by Shemona Esrei, you may never interrupt. Because Shemona Esrei, you're talking to God. Shema is also like a declaration. And even there, not so simple to make an interruption. May you interrupt the fast by tasting food. Hashara b'tanis ma'u sheyitoy. The second to last Tosfos in the Amid quotes Rabbeinu Hananel that learns this whole sugya, unlike other Rishonim. Avada, you may never swallow anything. Question is, can you put something in your mouth to see if the seasoning is good during a fast day? And then spit it out. Can you do that? Do we say achilu shesiya kabbalah that when you took upon yourself to fast, you were speaking about not eating nor drinking. And therefore, v'holeka, you're not eating or drinking, you're only tasting. So it's okay, right? This Gemara is for David Leader, or Dilma. No, even tasting. Hana, Kabbalah, that a fast means that I may not derive hana from eating. If you taste food, even if you don't swallow it, it doesn't nourish you, but it gives you hana. V'hayika. So Amalei.
It only applies to food, not to mouthwash. It's not food. Right?
If
Correct. Assuming you're not going to swallow it.
assuming you're not going to swallow,
You can't swallow mouthwash. It's not food.
depends how hungry you are. Amalei toyim, depends how much alcohol is in there also. Okay, he says that no problem. But even that, we'll see. Even though he's poskening that you can taste it without swallowing it, there's a limit to that. Can't go around the whole day tasting food and spitting it out. That mita emes, and we're linking this topic whether you need to make a bracha. You can taste, but ain't doing a bracha. And the hashoda b'tayim is toyim emekal klum. But the atkama, whether atkama goes on both, whether atkama goes on not making a bracha, whether atkama goes on the te'ima, we have always the good teretz. We're going too quick to speak it out. Rav Ami and Rav Asi, Ta'amei, they only allowed you to taste it at shiur revias, until a revias. If you're having a revias or more, then you may not. Now, you may not, meaning you may not taste it without making a bracha. You may not taste it on a fast day.
Each time revias or all of the tasting?
And I'll tell you more. Are you mitzdaref? Is the shiur of achilas pras mitzdaref for te'ima? Good. All of that is discussed.
Is this every tinus? Yom Kippur also?
L'chayra, not Yom Kippur, because we're speaking about achilo shesia kabel alei. L'chayra, we're speaking about tiniest that you took upon yourself. Amarav, another concept of interruption. Kol hanoisin shalom lachavere. Whoever greets his fellow before he davens, at the end of the world, ki'ilu asa oi bama. It's as if he made his fellow into a bama. A bama is a platform upon which people would bring sacrifices to God, which became outlawed once you have a temple. So once there was a mizbeach, whenever there was a mizbeach, there was an Isser Bamas. There were certain periods in Jewish history where there was a Heter Bamas. So there was, until we built a Mishkan, we can build a Bama. Anyone was allowed to build in the backyard a Bama and bring a carbon to God. We learned to Tosfos and Kachim that nowadays Goyim can offer a carbon to God out of Bama anywhere. But Yidden, 40 years Asur, the 14 years in Gilgal Mutter, the 369 years in Shiloh Asur, the 57 years of even given Mutter, and then from when David HaMelech moved the Mizbeach in Yerushalayim until forever, we may only offer a carbon to God Almighty in on the Mizbeach, that's Mokoymei Mechuvim B'Yosef in on Harabayas. Now, so making a bama is nice, but we're not allowed to do it. Greeting your fellow is nice. We're not allowed to do it until you greet God first. Now we're going to limit this prohibition. Shenemar, as it says a pasuk in Yeshaya, Chidlu lochem, desist to yourselves from a man asher neshama ba'api, that his neshama is in his nostrils, which means he just woke up. His neshama is only in his nostrils. Ki b'ameh nashru, what is he? So I'll take it b'ameh elabama, that if you greet him, you mean well, but you're yeah, Avos Yisrael is Avos Hashem, but you got to speak to God first. Shmuel Amar, don't read it different, read it straight, the same conclusion. Why are you giving him chashivus to him and not to God Almighty? Only greet people after you daven, meaning after Shemona Esrei. We just learned in our Mishnah that ba'pirakim shoyel mepnei hakavod. When do we read Shema before Shemona Esrei? Answers the Gemara. You know what we may not do? B'mashkim lepischoi. I am not allowed to go out of my way to stop in someone else's house to greet him. If I am not going out of my way, which is halacha before the minhag, if I meet you in shul, I could greet you because I didn't go out of my way. Now on this, a few things. First of all, there's the minimum and the maximum. Even going out of your way, many Rishonim say, what isur is there? Only to use the word shalom. Shalom aleichem. Because shalom is Shem Hashem. According to most halachic opinions, that if I go out of my way and I greet my fellow Jew, if I say good morning, that's okay. That's even if I'm going out of my way. Mitzat Sheni, right? Everyone is saying that if you're not going out of your way, you can greet everyone. There are certain people that have a chumrah. correct. That in the shul, even though you didn't go out of your way, don't use the word shalom. B'lashon hakodesh. Shalom is the different language, but shalom should not be said before davening. So people would wish each other in Aramish good morning, or in English good morning, or in Ivrit good morning. Not lashon hakodesh. Okay. Shmon Esrei. And let's read in parentheses. Whoever attends to his needs, you open up your emails. Okay, not a bama. Not a bama, but it's prohibited. Person is not allowed to attend his needs before he davens. As it said, tzedek, you'll find out Yahalik. That righteousness, says Rashi, tzedek refers to davening. Should walk in front of you, and then vayosem laderech ba'omav. Then set your feet on your way. Attend to your personal stuff only after you daven. In the positive, whoever davens it only afterwards, and dafka not before. You know what happens? God does your work for you. You honor God, God honors you. Not, God forbid, you should do it for this reason, but this is what happens. As it says, that if you will tzedek, Rashi said tzedek means the righteousness of speaking to God in the morning. And by the way, learning Torah is part of davening. We mentioned this. We get connected to God before. Then God, God will put the feet on the right way. You'll have the mazel. Whatever you'll do will be blessed. About being connected to God. Don't be disconnected. Don't put your things before God's things. So one of the ways that we can know whether we're connected or not is whether we have dreams or not. Now we have the Hayom Yom that speaks about a person who has the big schos of dreaming about Divrei Torah. That's already gavaldik. That's a person who's mamash oisik about Torah. But at least to have dreams. Having a dream means that you're connected to something ruchnius. Not being aware of your dreams is not a good thing. If you sleep for 7 days and you don't remember it, you don't have a dream, maybe you don't have, maybe most of us have dreams, you just don't remember it. But become into the habit of remembering your dreams. Nikra ra. That's a sign that they're calling you not positive. As it says that the saveya yolin, right, that a satiated person will rest. We know a person who's anxious doesn't rest. If you're satiated, you can rest. Bal yipaketro, you won't be visited with bad. So here, teaches the Gemara, al tikra saveya ela sheva. You understand? Sheva yolin, if you sleep for 7 days, bal yipaket, you were never visited. How does God visit most of us? When you're sleeping, ra. Whoever satiates oneself with the words of Torah vilon, and he sleeps, here everything is in the positive, not only will he have a dream, he'll have good dreams. They won't give him bad tidings in his dream. Same pasuk, Shenemar, here it says visaveya. If you're satiated with what? With Yiddishkeit, then you'll sleep, you'll be visited, but not with bad things. Just to close this before we go to Daf Nun Hey, don't think that if you think you had a bad dream, it was a bad dream. That's a whole different parsha. We don't know so easy how to interpret dreams. We're going to learn clear in the Gemara that some things that you might, from not knowing, you'll think, oh, that was a Surah Ra, it was a Surah Toiva. So we're not going into dream interpretations as of yet, but dreaming is a good siman, and a person who's satiated with the words of Torah and mitzvahs will be a person that will always hear good tidings in one's dream. Elu hein bein aprakim. Right? That was Machlekes Rav Meir and Rav Yehuda. Like we spoke out, the tosfot of dafyomi says, as the rule, Rav Meir and Rav Yehuda, halacha ki Rav Yehuda. And that's the whole thing, that Sholem pnei Yiro Meshum pnei Kavod, or Baprakim Sholem pnei Kavod u'Meshum Sholem l'chol Adam. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, halacha ki Rabbi Yehuda. That wa do Amar bein elikechem le'emes v'yatziv, even though he was lenient, but Rabbi Yehuda says in between that Baprakim, lo yafsik Rabbeinu Yoina says lo yafsik at all. That between Ani Hashem Elokeichem, you have to say the word emes. Amar Rabba Bo, Amar Rabbi Yechanan. My Talmud Rabbi Yehuda. Because the chsiv, turning to Daf Yud Aleph and Beis, a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, V'Hashem Elokim Emes. So you may never interrupt between the words Elokim and Emes. Now comes the question, Chayzer V'Omer Emes, or Yeino Chayzer V'Omer Emes. But you can't make an interruption. Let's not forget, my friends, that in Parshas Shalach, the Torah doesn't say the word Emes. So you're saying Emes when you finish Parshas Tzitzis, because it says in Yirmiyahu, V'Hashem Elokim Emes. Elokim Emes, good. But now the bracha after the Shema begins with the words, not V'yatziv, not V'emunah. The nusach of our Nevi'im that wrote the brachas was Emes V'yatziv, Emes V'emunah. Should you repeat the word Emes twice? Amar Rabba Bo, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Chayzer V'omer Emes, yes. And Rabba says, and Azoy we paskin, Eino Chayzer V'omer Emes. Now just speaking out, hold on. There's a whole inyan that we should articulate Ramach words when we say the Shema, and the Shema is lacking 3 words to the 248, and the way you compensate for it, the Alter Rebbe says, we never say Keil Melech Neman, that's not our nusach. We have to repeat 3 words. If you're daven b'yechidus, then you say Ani Hashem Elokeichem, Ani Hashem Elokeichem Emes. But when you daven b'tzibur, then we should all daven b'tzibur. What happens? Then we say the whole Shema. The Tefilla says Ani Hashem Elokeichem Emes. Kisses the tzitzis. And then he repeats the words Hashem Elokeichem Emes. So there is a repetition. But we don't repeat Emes Emes. We repeat the ganze phrase. That's different. Oh, so says the Gemara, someone about Tefilla went down, got a daven b'makim namach. Right, even today we're in Prague, in the Maral Shul. Mamish, you go down to the place of the stender. You go down to daven. Shomai Rabba, the Amar Rabba heard the Bal Tefillah saying Emes Emes, today's Zimna, and he didn't like it. Amar Rabba called Emes Emes Tafshilahai. This person got seized. He has a seizure. Emes 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 Emes, and he didn't appreciate that. No, don't repeat Emes Emes. You want to repeat the way you should. Our meaning is Hashem Elokeichem Emes. Don't repeat the word Emes. I don't know how do the Sfardim daven? Do they repeat Emes? I don't think so. That's good. He repeats all of the words. Okay, right? Amar Rabbi Yosef. Kama Malyo Hashmaitza. How great, how amazing is the following teaching, which is the Chiyasa Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda. Amar. That Amri b'Marava, that by Maidev in Eretz Yisrael, when they davened the Shema by Maidev, they didn't say the whole tzitzis. They didn't machal say the whole third portion. You know what they said? They said David al b'nei Yisrael, v'yomartu aleihem, and they skipped over, and they said, Ani Hashem Elokeichem Emes. There's a pasuk in Pashas Achrei Mois, that's Vayikra, Pedek, Yud Ches, pasuk Beis. The whole pasuk reads, David al b'nei Yisrael, v'yomartu aleihem, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. That's Kamai Seretz Mitzrayim Lo Yisasu. Or Kamai Seretz Canaan Lo Yisasu. Read that on Yom Kippur.
So they're skipping the part of tzitzis.
Yeah, they read that Sanai. David al b'nei Yisrael, Ani Hashem Elokeichem Emes. Because like we mentioned, the mitzvah of tzitzis is not at night. You're not mechoyev at night. Amalei Abaye, my Aliyah, so is that good teaching? How is it so great? It's not great. For Ha'amar Rav Kahana, in the name of Rav, that, okay, I got at night, you're not obligated to add the third portion. But once you begin, you got to finish. In life, it's a good rule. Even things that you're not obligated to do, if you begin something, finish it. It says, and if you're going to answer me, well, just by saying the words V'amarta Aleim doesn't mean they began it, it's not true. If you're going to say V'amarta Aleim Lahav Aschola, Nish Temes. V'ha'amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Amar Rav, David al b'nei Yisrael Lahav Aschola. If you just said those words, you don't have to finish it. Because David al b'nei Yisrael is such a generic opening. But the moment you said the words V'amarta Aleim, that's called a Haschola. So answers the Gemara Amar Rav Papa that Kasavri b'ma'arava, that in Eretz Yisrael, they understood that the words V'amarta Aleim Namalei Hava Aschala. Ada Amar V'aslam Tzitzis. This is of great significance if you think about it. In Eretz Yisrael, even after you begin telling something to someone, you said nothing yet. There you got to say it, spell it out. You got to start speaking about the mitzvah itself. Amar Abaye, so what's the conclusion of all of this? So, Hilkach, therefore, Anan, we, Aschuli Maschilinon, since in Eretz Yisrael, they didn't omit it. They only said the beginning and then they skipped. So we have to learn They began saying the third portion at night. We have to begin it. The Kamaschali b'marava. And now, the Kivan, the Aschilina, now that we begin even at night saying the third portion, they did not consider that beginning enough. But we don't accept that. We understand that when you say the words Va'amarta Aleim, you already began. So now we have to finish it. Migmanami gomrinon. Daha Amarav Kahana Amarav, Lo Yaschel, but Vemischel Goimer. Chia Barav Omar, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Chia Barav Omar. If Omar Ani Hashem Elokeichem, says Rashi, what does it mean? That means if you are reading the parsha of Vayomer, if you're reading the whole parsha, then you have to say the word emes. However, Loi Omar Ani Hashem Elokeichem, then you don't have to say the word emes. Even more than what you learned above. In other words, it's not pshat that the Chachamim enacted emes v'yatzit or emes v'emunah as the beginning of the bracha after Shema. Really, the bracha after Shema begins with the words v'yatzit or with v'emunah. Why do we say emes? We say emes because we said Ani Hashem Elokeichem, and we have the pasuk in Yirmiyah of Hashem Elokeim emes. Which now that you're questioning whether b'chlal you have to say the third portion, he's machadish. If you opt out of the third portion, don't begin with at night. Emunah. Begin with emunah. Don't say emes. How can you omit the third portion? So answers the Gemara. Opa. You don't have to say it in Vayomer. Even now, I mean, the nusach in the Gemara is not the nusach that we have. But look in the emunah and see the nusach. The nusach is. We mention a lot in the emunah about Yitzias Mitzrayim. We're mentioning it at night. The Amar Hachi, Moidem Anachnu L'cha Hashem Elokeinu, Shehoitzei Sonum Eretz Mitzrayim, Ufdisonum Beis Avadim, Ve'asi Solonu Nisam Gvurais Alayam, and Gesharnu Lach Michamoich Ve'elam Hashem. So we do mention it at night. And if you don't say Vayomer, don't say Emes. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. What about the Seder? Lama Kadma Parsha Shema V'chulei. So he says at first, what's the words of Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha? That's in Shema has in it Kabbalas Oil Malchus Shemayim. In the words of Chassidus, you have to express your bittul lebal haratzoin, and only then are you makabel the mitzvahs themselves. That's why Shema comes before V'hayom. Now we will learn another Tana's explanation to the Seder of the three portions of the Shema. Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Yomer bidinu. It's correct. Sheyagdim Shema l'vayim Shemaya. You know why? Because Shezem lilmoid. Says Rashi. In the first portion, it says Vidi Bartabam. You should learn Torah. V'zeh v'hoya. Rashi says you only mention l'lamed. The kid should speak the words of Torah. Before you teach, you have to learn. If you're not going to learn, how are you going to teach? So first you learn, then you teach. And now, V'hoyim Shemaya goes to Vayomer, because Shezeh, V'hoya is Lilmoid. And then, what's in Vayomer? Lasois. The only thing you have in Vayomer is a mitzvah, doing mitzvahs. Learning, teaching, doing. Learning, teaching, and doing. Not exactly, but good enough. Right. Ask the Gemara. Atu Shema only lilmoid ispei lelamed velasois leispei. It's not true. It says both vishinam tam levanecha. What does that mean? Teach your children. It also says ukshartam. You have all three in Shema: learning, teaching, and doing. Uksaftam. Number one. Number two. V'su v'hoyim Shema is only lelamed hu de isbei. But velasois leisbei. You also have in the second portion ukshartem. You have uksaftam. Ella, we expound, we understand the Rashbi, Hachi Ka'amar, Bidinu, Shetigdam Shema L'Vahayim Shemaya. Why? Because Shema has everything in it. Shezeh, meaning Shema has Lilmoit, Vidibartabam, Lilamed, Shinamtam Levanecha, Lasois, Kshartam, Ksaftam. And Vahayim Shemaya doesn't have learning, has teaching and doing. Vayim Shemaya Levayomer, Shezeh, V'hoya has Lilamed, Shinamtam Levanecha, and Velasois, also, Ukshartam Ha'ois, Uksaftam, and Vayomer, Ein Ba'el Lasois Bulvad. Now we understood him. Now the question is, what was wrong with our Mishnah? Fragt die Gemara, why didn't Rab Shimon Bar Yochai learn it as the Mishnah spoke out from Rabbi Shua ben Karcha? Says the Gemara, you to understand, it's a rule. When you have two Tanoim giving different reasons, sometimes they argue, sometimes they don't. In other words, Chada v'oid ka'amar. Chada, fakir. The first is Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. Dafkan the Seder. Chada, kadei shikabel all of them al chashamayim tchila. Makes sense because Shema is the beginning. You begin with Oil Malchus Shemayim, and then V'achakach Yikabel all mitzvahs. That's the Mishnah. V'oid Mishum de'is ba hani mila acharani yosam. Says the Gemara Vayter Rav Moshe Yodei. When you wake up in the morning, even though in the times of Chazal then they didn't have the level of tumah that we have nowadays, we'll leave that for another time. But Rav already would wash his hands. And what was his Seder Hayoim? First, he read the Shema. Then he put on Tefillin. And then he davened Shemoneh Esrei. And not what? And not Tefillin before the Shema. Now, it comes out nowadays that we are theoretically in yeshiva, we learn chassidus a long time, and not to, God forbid, miss the Zman Shema, Zman Kriya Shema. That's the way yeshiva Bachar Mayos do it. Like in the morning, wash my I say Berachot, say the Shema. The mikvah, you learn chassidus, then you daven. But we're going to speak about this whole idea, and the truth is, in yeshiva, I remember good bachrim, they would put on tefillin before they said Shema. Remember that? Not by davening. But the question will be whether you can read the Shema before you put on tefillin. So asks the Gemara, how did Rav read the Shema before he put on tefillin? It says in a braisa, Tanoim, this it goes back to the sugya of ha'oisik b'mitzvah, patam in mitzvah, and one of the mitzvahs is burying the dead. And as it was the nohug bismanehem, that people were not buried in the ground, but there were caves in the ground that had stone walls. In the walls, they would dig out a kuch, a recess, and they would lay people to rest in the wall in the cave, and preparing that as a mitzvah. So if a person is involved in that mitzvah, patur mikriya shema, min hatfila, min hatfilin, the medium-sized white lines, mikol mitzvahs b'teira, it's part of a mitzvah. He gives man kriya shema, but if it comes the time of shema, then then get out of that kuch and wash your hands and put on tefillin and read the shema and daven. So before we go on to the problem of the order of, you see, tefillin and then shema, hold on, do you stop ha'oisik b'mitzvah patav in a mitzvah or not? Ha'gufa kasha, reisham ha'patav v'sefer chayiv. So the Gemara says, that's not a kasha. Holy kasha, seifa is speaking about if you have two people digging out the recess and dafke ba'oifen, that they cannot work together. Two people work together, if they would accomplish the digging of the burial place quicker, then that's called ha'oisik b'mitzvah. Burying a person as soon as possible trumps reading the Shema. But if you're digging the kuch ba'oifen, that only one person can dig at a time. There's not enough space for two people. Veer the din is, you dig, while you're digging, the chaver read Shema, take turns. Like this, the burial won't be delayed, but everyone will chaparayim the mitzvah. But vereisha b'chad. But now, bottom line is, you see in a braisa, that what? Kashya l'Rav. First tefillin and then the Shema. So the Gemara says, Rav ki Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha sfiralei. The Omar, he holds oil malchus shemayim tchila v'achakach oil mitzvahs. Oy bazoi, you know, tefillin is a mitzvah. Shema is a bittel bal harotzin. So before you do a detail, first be mabatel yourself, kabbalah malchus shemayim. Gemara doesn't like that answer. Now hold on. A braiser writes otherwise. That's his word. That I can hold like Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Machlekes Tanoim. The emes is Rav Tanahu Palik, but we try not to go. Asks the Gemara, Eimer the Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. The precedence in Seder of Kriya is lahagdim Kriya lekriya. So you read the Shema v'Hafta before you read the V'Hoya. But Kriya la'asiya mishamat lei. You're confusing. Here we're not speaking about reading it. We're speaking about doing. Here, l'chayra, doing, it's the content of Pirkei Yov is hamaisa hua ikar, above everything else. So put on tefillin first. Vesu, and furthermore, me, Saval like Yeshua ben Karcha, what, you think Rav agrees with the whole Yeshua ben Karcha? V'ha'amar Rab Chia bar Ashi. Zimnen Sagin, many occasions. Hava Kamin Kamei Rav. I witnessed, I saw Rav. Umagdim, when he would wake up in the morning. First thing we do as my friends, Umasha Yodi, you wash your hands. And Umavarech, you know what Umavarech means? Birchas HaTorah. And then Umasnil on Pirkin, he would teach Torah. Because he would wake up when it's dark. Right? O Ira Shachar, we learned, David HaMelech says a few times in Tehillim. Wake up before it's dawn. And then, you can't daven yet. Say brachas, say birchas HaTorah, teach Torah. But then, Umanach Tefillin v'hadar kari kriya shema. But when it came time to daven, he put on tefillin and he read. And v'chi teima b'deloi matas man krishma. If you're going to tell me, it could be that Shema, when is the ideal time for reading Shema? We learned it's connected to being soymekul l'tefillah. And when are you supposed to do all that? With the sunrise, vasikin. From when can you put on tefillin? Mishiyakir. Could be there. He learned when it was dark. The first opportunity to put on tefillin was earlier than the ideal time of Shema. That's why there he put on tefillin. And he only read the Shema later. But if that's the reason, Rabbi says, I want you to know, many times I saw Rab do that. My asaduse, the Rabbi Barashi. There's no novelty in that. So the Gemara says, no, I'll tell you the novelty. He said that testimony because we learned the machlokes whether you have to make birchas HaTorah for Torah shebachsav or even only for Torah shebal peh. Lafuk imam da amar lemishnah en tzarich levarech. So that was the Komash Malan, the Af Lemishna Tzarech Lame Levar. Coming go back, Mikol Makoim, Kasha Lerav. Bottom line will be is that since we learned in the Baraisa of HaChoifer Kuch Lemeis, that you put on tefillin and then you read the Shema, why did Rav reverse the Seder? Why is it that sometimes he read the Shema and then he put on tefillin? The Gemara answers that's such a good klal. Many times people do certain things in a certain order for practical reasons. Not everything is akavana pnimius. Shluch od avis. Rav didn't have his tefillin with him because people did tefillin with Rav's tefillin. By us, the Rebbe used to give out his lulav. Rav gave out his tefillin. So he needed someone to bring his tefillin back. Or, not Rav, but klal, people were poor. Could be that the shul had one pair of tefillin. And everyone shared it. So the time of reading, really you're supposed to put on tefillin before you read the Shema. But the shliach didn't bring back the tefillin. He didn't want to miss the Zman Shema. Or he didn't want to miss Shema Vasikin. So when you don't have the tefillin, you say the Shema before the tefillin. Practically, but if you have both, dafka first, hamaisa hua ikar, and then read the Shema. Let's chop another few lines. Amar ula kol akoyre kriya Shema b'loy tefillin ki ilu meid edu sheker ba'atzmai. The Ritva says it means you're testifying falsely about yourself. What are you reading in the Shema? Parsha Rishayna and Parsha Shniya. Put on tefillin. Why are you not wearing tefillin? Rashi learns much more. Rashi says sheker ba'atzmai. Rashi says that we're speaking euphemistically. You're being made this sheker against God. Wow. Amar Rab Chia bar Abba, Amar Rab Yechanan, ki ilu hikriv oyla b'loy mincha. That reading Shema without putting on tefillin is like offering an oyla without bringing the mincha. Or like offering a korban without bringing the nesachim. The Alter Rebbe explains in Torah Oir, or Lekutei Torah, that mitzvahs is ratzoi or shuv. And there are certain mitzvahs that have a shidduch. In Paraduma is the same mitzvahs ratzoi and shuv. That's the beyond understanding. But there are many mitzvahs that have to be done together because only ratzoi or only shuv is not kosher. So you have to bring them together. So Shema in Chassidus is Mesiras Nefesh ratzoi. Tefillin is bringing God down. Maybe Ulai, one of the reasons why the Rebbe Dafka mitzvah Tefillin is because that's going to bring Mashiach, but bringing God down. And that's mamish, the Alter Rebbe explains that. Why is it that in the desert we didn't fully have the mitzvah of Nesachim? Because physically Nesachim is something that's poured, it goes down. The carbon is burnt up, carbon is ratzon. And that's why in the desert, what did the Yidden want there? They wanted to be in a mode of ratzon. Even though we learned the Machlekes Tanoim, whether there was Bechlal no Nesachim, but the many details of Nesachim came about only when we entered Eretz Yisrael. So Ratzoi and Shuv, Yechap, and that's going better. If Al Pi Zeh, this is the Alter Rebbe's time. So if Tefillin is Shuv and Shema is Ratzoi, So which one comes first? That's the topic. We have to be so grounded that soif ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Ha'ma'aseh hu ha'ikar. The goal is to bring God down. Tefillin. In order to do that, we have to be connected to God. If we're not going to have a moment of ratzoi, how are we going to succeed? Tefillin, and then while we're wearing the tefillin, we then say the Shema. We'll stop here to be continued.
So again, if you're just saying the Shema just to be